Ready? Then we're going to start the season. I can't think of a better way than our own Mr. Grant singing a theme song.
100%.
Woo woo!
I don't have a picture.
Hmm?
How come I don't have a picture?
On the big screen.
All right, Rowena, I need you to mute.
I don't.
Oh,
There we go. Okay, everybody. Mr. Grant, you are on.
Yeah, have to start the button.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're once You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Given the choice between the two of you, I take the seasick crocodile. You really are a mean one, Mr. Grinch. There we go.
Whoa. You'll be hearing from Grant again from time to time. He has developed quite a voice and has been in a choir and putting on with the choir, doing several programs now in the last week, and a solo as well. So we welcome Mr. Grant and his singing. I have some announcements for everybody. First of all, I want to thank Grant for this morning. We thought Rowena is going to make a presentation in a minute. Angie is going to be reading. Serge is going to be reading. And we had Gregory on from doing tech and a backup with Donald. We want to say blessings to Angie, who will be reading, but she is in the hospital. So we give her blessings as well. What a trooper. Her daughter, Anna, has come back after being gone for 100 years. I tend to exaggerate, but Anna's been gone for a long while, so we're glad to have her in town. Anna's been putting on all kinds of shows in the last year, I think 3 big ones. And she's been 4 big ones. Christmas Eve. We are live at Christmas Eve. We're going to be at Aureli's. Those of you who can make it, you want to mask up if you wish. We have candles provided. It'll be lots of music. And thanks to Rick Homer, we have corrected an embarrassing mistake. There's this enormous plasma screen on the wall. And Rick said very innocently, why don't you plug Ken's laptop into the big screen? Duh. The screen comes on, so we will be live streaming as well. So if you can't make it Christmas Eve at 6:30, you can watch us. We will be there doing our Christmas Eve music and enjoying candlelight and all of it. Last year we tried it for the very first time, and it was an instant tradition. So we'll be doing it again. 2 other things. I want to thank Judy Homer has a friend, Penny. Is that right, Penny? Penny is a famous seamstress in New York City, was worked there 40 years. You name the show, she's been in it and on it, doing it. I have a stole that was the size of a tapestry for a wall. It was terrible. And I said, you know, it'd be nice if we could do something with this. And Judy says, I think I have the person to do this. She takes one look at it, says, no problem at all. This thing, she transformed this rug, this huge thing, into a magnificent wearable stole. It is made for special occasions. It's an ancient tapestry, as you can see, it's ancient tapestry. It's the thing of, it's meant for all seasons. For those of you who are not used to having a stole in Christianity means you are an ordained clergyman. In the UUA, people from non-Christian backgrounds are now wearing them as well. it is a sign of ordination. It does not mean you're a smarty cat. It does not mean you're better than anybody else. It does not mean you are the boss. It simply means that your job in the community is to be the one who reads the texts and helps do the rituals and shares in leading of the congregation. We clear about that. This does not mean you're some like smarty pants in charge of everything. It means somebody in the community, as you well know, has to take care of plumbing. Somebody has to do the air conditioning. Somebody has to do the repairing. Somebody has to do the IT, right? You've got that. Well, somebody also has to do the rituals, understand the rituals, the text, and why we gather. And that's my job. And this is kind of, you might say, my uniform. Just the same way as a sanitation engineer in Miami wears a certain uniform, nurses wear uniforms. It is a uniform, not a bossy thing, just as a kind of what we do. So having said all of that, we welcome some more people who came in. Let's see, Cindy and Larry I mentioned, and Gail and Tom also from Port Orange. As we begin, we want to have some special music. This is the Hanukkah season. This is a group that has sung before. We want to start Hanukkah season with Ari Schwartz and Shir Lisek, as they do a very famous Oseh Shalom. And after that, Rowena will lead us with the lighting of the menorah. If you, part of the Unitarian Universalist tradition is Judaism, and about a quarter of the membership of the UUA is Jewish, and we are very, 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 very enriched by our Jewish heritage. The cantors are from Fifth Avenue Synagogue, a conservative synagogue. Our members at All Souls are Reform and Reconstruction, as part of what they bring to us in their wisdom and in their attendance and giving. Rowena has been with us, and her son has been with us almost from the beginning. You remember Ian when he was young. He was still a teenager going to school, and Rowena has traditionally done the menorah, and then we had COVID and we lost everything. So we are now back to going our traditions. Rowena, can you share with us a little about the menorah, as you have always done in the past? And you have to unmute.
Okay, all right, here we go. Let's hope I can do this. All right. All right, so I'm not going to go straight to the menorah, but it's going to be under 5 minutes. Can you read? Can you see this? Yes. Can you guys read this at all?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this says, which is the correct spelling? Hanukkah, Hanukkah, or Hanukkah? That's better. Okay. So just in case you're wondering, none of them are the correct spelling. This is the only correct spelling in Hebrew. So, all right. So Hanukkah was a revolt or a civil war? Revolt or civil war? Both, depending on the historian that you read. Where did it take place? Judea. Are you sure you can read this?
Yeah.
Judea, Jerusalem, and more of Judea. Sorry, hang on. Wait. All right. Then you've got, when was it? 167 to 160 BCE. Who was the king? Antiochus the Fourth. And the people who invaded were Cyclids, not Greeks. So you can hear all about Greeks. No, they were Cyclids, something like that. Okay, so he invaded Judea and Jerusalem, and he prohibited everything Jewish. And everything Jewish meant, oh God, circumcision. You see that now? Okay, circumcision, public Jewish observances, private Jewish observances, and possession. Here we go. Possession of, how am I doing? Possession of Jewish stuff, and the punishment was death.
Whoa.
Not nice. Okay, so there was a family of brothers called the Maccabees, and the father was Matthias, and the son was Judah, and they killed the person who was going to fall in with the Hellenes, and then they ran off into the hills, and they fought and fought and fought and fought. And finally, they beat the Cyclids, who were actually getting beaten on the other end of the land as well. But then, amazingly enough, they went back to the temple in Jerusalem, and the temple got cleaned. And what's interesting that I just found out is that the first festival of lights, so to speak, was performed after the death of Antiochus. It was not until the rabbis got together that the miracle of lights actually was thought up. That's kind of an analogy. So actually, the original Hanukkah was celebrating the rededication of the temple and the defeat over the Cyclids. Okay, moving on. Holy oil, the miracle. They only had, quote unquote, but they only had enough holy oil for one night. Nobody there could purify it because they had just finished killing people, so they weren't holy enough. And they had a menorah in the temple. Okay, here we go. Menorah. Okay, this is their menorah. This was a temple oil holder, very exciting. And each family has their own type of menorah. And hang on, ours is this. Actually, it's 15 years old, and it was made in a class project at Chelsea's Torah School. She's now 30 something. Okay, we celebrate light and we celebrate oil, and part of celebrating the oil is cooking things in oil. This is where it comes into cooking. Okay, in Israel they cook. Where are we? That's it. Donuts. Because donuts are cooked in oil, and latkes, which are made from potatoes and oil, except if you put just oil in, you're going to need one of these. That's a joke. Okay. When you light your menorah, which we're actually going to do this evening, so pretend there's a candle there. Thank you, Judy. And what we do one light for each night. It's an easy way to remember it. Then you have more oil, and we did that, latkes and dreidels. And this, this is a dreidel. It's a bad drawing of a dreidel, but on the dreidel are different symbols for a great miracle happened there, but they used the dreidel to pretend they were playing a game when they were actually observing a Jewish ritual of praying. These are the symbols that were on the dreidel, and that's about it. So, yeah. Happy Hanukkah. Did I leave anything out? Any questions? There we go. Julie's got a menorah. Maureen's got her menorah. You're supposed to put them in the window so that people can see that the Jewish faith still shines on. And because it's so close to Christmas, people have started giving each other presents, which they didn't do in the beginning. They used to do they tried to kill us, they failed, let's eat. Which is the basis of all Jewish festivals. And I'm done.
Thank you, Rowena. Thank you, Rowena. And blessed be
How many minutes was that?
blessed be our Jewish members, and blessed be our Jewish heritage within the congregation. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Now
you.
we switch now to George Fox University as we begin an introit to our call to worship this morning is taken from the book of the prophet Isaiah. The book of Isaiah is 66 chapters long and spreads out over a period of roughly 250 years. This part, the first part, is written by Isaiah of Jerusalem roughly about 2,700 years ago, when Hezekiah was king and he was the prophet in place in Jerusalem. And so I'm asking you to read the R, the response. I will read the V. For a child has been born to us, a son given to us. Authority rests upon his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His authority shall grow continually, and there shall be endless peace. He will establish it and uphold it with justice and with righteousness from this time onward and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of the host will do this. And a morning prayer by those who wish by Howard Thurman. Those of you who would read with me together. May this Christmas we light candles of joy despite all sadness. Candles of hope where despair keeps watch. Candles for courage, for fear ever present. Candles of peace for tempest-tossed days. Candles of grace to ease heavy burdens. Candles of love to inspire all living, and may their light shine all year long. Amen. And reading to us all the way from her hospital bed, what a trooper, Angie Hill, if you would please.
Altars of Light by Pierre Joris. If the light is the soul, then soul is what's all around me. It is you. It is around you too. It is you. The darkness is inside me, the opaqueness of organs folded upon organs to make light in the house of the body, thus to bring the outside in, the impossible job. And the only place to become skin, the border, the in-between, where dark meets light, where I meet you. In the house of world, the many darknesses are surrounded by light. To see the one, we need the other. It cuts both ways. Light on light, blind. Dark on dark is blind. Light through dark is not dark. Through light is movement. Dark through light becomes, is becoming. To move through, light is becoming.
I want to thank all of you for not getting up and dancing. I was absolutely convinced that some of you would be twirling around doing the sugar plum fairy dance. We're asking now Serge from delightful Palm Beach, almost kind of weather in Sedona, Arizona, where it is, I believe, minus 100. If he would lead us in the responsive reading, Serge Cruz.
It's only 35 degrees here. All right, responsive reading by Van Dyke. There's a better thing than the observance of Christmas Day, and that is keeping Christmas. Are you willing
to close your book of complaints against the management of the universe and look around you for a place where you can sow a few seeds of happiness?
Are you willing
to believe that love is the strongest thing in the world, stronger than hate, stronger than evil, stronger than death, and that the blessed life which began in Bethlehem 1900 years ago is the image and brightness of eternal love?
Then
and you can all keep Christmas.
Keep Christmas.
And if you can keep Christmas for a day, why not always? And again, Angie's going to be reading to us from the Gospel of Luke.
The Gospel of Luke, chapter 4, verses 16 through 20. When he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, he went to the synagogue on the Sabbath day, as was his custom. He stood up to read, and the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was given to him. He unrolled the scroll and found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." And he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. The eyes of all in the synagogue were fixed on him.
Thank you, Angie. I'm listening to the music today, and you've had Grant with Mr. Grinch, Pentatonics, Ose Shalom, all this Wizards in Winter, and I'm thinking, why are you even speaking? After that great music, what is wrong with you? Why do you think you should even open your mouth? Seriously, the music alone just is so good. Traditionally, Advent in the Christian calendar is supposed to be a time of waiting. And the thing is, usually this is 4 weeks out of the year. 4 weeks out of the year, and the idea is, you can go through 4 weeks, blah, 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 but you get through it. Well, it seems to me as if, in fact, we have been ambushed. We've been ambushed by COVID. And by the way, don't tell me I am the only one that gets days mixed up now. I know the rest of you are like this too. You think it's Friday and it's only Tuesday, or you think it's the weekend and it's only like Monday, and days are mixed up. And, the semester ended and I'm still back in May. It's December and I'm still back in May. So COVID has thrown the way we look at time, and I can't be the only one. The way we look at time, the way we look at days, and, time gets mixed up. The flu is out again. Isn't that just lovely? We've got an outbreak of flu everywhere. And then, of course, we've had lovely politics, just lovely. And we've seen all kinds of ups and downs just in the last couple of months. Some of you were expecting one outcome from the election, and others were expecting another outcome. It was quite an election season. All of this has ambushed us, and we've lost all track of time. It seems like we've been waiting not 4 weeks, but like a few years here. We've got lost. Have any of you lost a decade? Have any of you, like in your mind, lost like a chunk of time? And it's just like, it's not like you're old, although some of us might be getting there. It's like we just lost. And it seems to me that unintentionally and unconsciously, we have become, to paraphrase Grant, we're really a heel. We're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel. Our heart's an empty hole. Our brain is full of spiders, and we've got garlic in your soul. We have termites in our smile. We have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile. We're a 3-decked sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. In short, have you noticed there is a tremendous lack of joy lately, anybody? Seriously, there is an incredible lack of joy. Let me get on a rant about balance. This may be the first time I've been allowed to do this. My mother, may her soul rest in peace, used to lecture me till the very day she died. You need balance in your life, Kenneth. You have no balance. You and I have been told we're supposed to have balance. I hate to tell you this, folks. We have seriously lost balance. Name something wrong. That thing that Serge was reading, we were reading this morning, I thought was an absolute riot when it said from Van Dyke, it said, are you willing to close your book of complaints against the management of the universe? Everybody's writing books of complaints against management of the universe. People are very crabby. Name something. If you ask somebody, how are you doing today? They're going to tell you with footnotes. The back hurts. This is wrong. That's wrong. Something else is wrong. Complain. And I'm thinking to myself, are you alive? Oh, that's nice. Did you eat today? That's nice. Did you happen to wash today? Oh, you had water. Did you have soap? That's nice. Did you have a pair of shoes to put on? Very nice. Did you have tech? Not everybody has technology today. Did you have some friends? Did you have some friends who were concerned about you? Seriously, did you have family that still loves you? Think about that. That's not always the case. You've been around families, you know the way that can get. So I'm saying to you, when you think about that, no, complaint. Ha! So I'm thinking what we need is some joy, folks. This is the season to experience some joy. Really? Where is it? So your intrepid minister decided to look up joy. And every time I do this, I am so embarrassed. I come across a name, and everybody's heard of this name like forever. And they said, you're just hearing about this. So I thought I would try this once again. I came across a name, and let's see if anybody else knows this. And probably the whole place does, and I'm the last one. Have you ever heard of Ingrid Fettel Lee? Ah, joy! Yes! Finally, I've got somebody that nobody's heard of. She wrote a book called The Surprising Power of Ordinary Things to Create Extraordinary Happiness. Forget that. She did a TED Talk called Where Joy Hides and How to Find It. Where Joy Hides and How to Find It. You need to listen to this. She says joy is hard to explain, but joy is universal. Joy can be found everywhere, and joy gives you a benefit that doesn't cost a cent. It is an instant high. It is an instant like shaking of your soul. It gives you big smiles. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel just all over the place. So I thought, okay, I better check this out. So I did some reading, and she writes, she was doing the end of her thing in art school, and they have to put everything down on the table. And these cranky old men, why are men always cranky when they get old? Not about, but it seems the cranky old men come by, the professors, and this is when they really say bad things. So this guy comes up, the big deal, and he says to her the following, "It gives me joy," and walked away. And she was, what? He said, "It gives me joy," and just smiled and walked away. And she said, what? What is this? It gives you joy? He said, yes, it gives me joy. It hit her like that. We're missing joy. Joy is all around us, and we don't even see it. She says joy is about feeling good in the moment. It shakes you. It makes you smile. It makes you... When was the last time you had joy? You will have joy, and you will like joy. Are we clear about this? If we must be Teutonic in the season, you will have the joy, and you will like the joy. Some examples, if you will. She began spotting joy everywhere she went. A yellow car. See an old yellow car. Have you ever seen an old car and just smile? You got the license plate antique and you think where you were? Some of you weren't even born before some of these cars. Think of a clever piece of street art. Have you ever gone down to Wynwood and see graffiti? Oh my heavens, yes. Think about that. Have you ever seen cherry blossoms? You ever seen pictures of cherry blossoms? Bubbles, swimming pools, tree houses. How could you not like a tree house? How could you not let your mind wonder about what it'd be like to be living in a tree house now? Judy Homer, you're going to live in a tree house right now. Pat, you're going to get in a tree house. Pat is now going to go out to her balcony, 900 feet above Manhattan, and build in a tree house. That's the way it is. Christine Sloan is tired of mold. She is now going to go out and live in the trees so she'll be way above all the water that floods Port Orange. That's it, folks. We need tree houses. What about ice cream cones? Did you ever see a kid with ice cream cones and sprinkles? Yes, 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 yes. With all those cuddly sprinkles. What about a rainbow? Did you ever notice when a rainbow hits unexpectedly, you look up and you just smile and you're like, whoa, a rainbow. In Miami, you can actually see Manhattan. Can you imagine seeing anything in Manhattan? You see a rainbow in all the smog. Fireworks. Don't you ever just smile when you see fireworks? Especially something that's unexpected. So she said, if you want to see how they talk about joy, Sandy Hook. What did they do to that school after that massacre? They made a whole new school. And you know what they did? They filled it with curves. They absolutely filled it with curves and waves and changed the color. Colors of curves and colors of waves throughout the classrooms and schools to make people feel different outside the box. Schools are, you ever heard schools are always boxes? They changed the boxes into curves and waves. Now, I found some other examples of joy. I figured somebody would say to me, all right, Reverend, why don't you give us some real examples of joy, huh? Why don't you try that? I have a couple. Aha! Here's another name I bet you never have heard. If you have, I quit. Have any of you heard of Iona Serenko? Oh, I'm on a roll. Okay, I didn't either. It's digging around this stuff. Alyona Serenko works for the International Committee of the Red Cross in crisis areas. She's in Nairobi in a mess and she gets a call from Odessa. And it turns out a family member is getting married in Odessa. And they said to her, would you come to the wedding? Meanwhile, missiles are flying over Odessa. This is happening now, by the way. This happened a month ago. I'm not talking before the war. I'm talking a month ago. She has not worn high heels in years. She hasn't worn a dress in years. So she gets on the plane, goes to Moldova. Moldova? How do you pronounce that?
Moldova.
Moldova. Goes to Moldova, and she says she decides she sees this wild, bright red dress. She's never worn a bright red dress in her life. She said it gave her joy. She puts on this wild dress, high heels like you can't believe, and is one of 7 to attend a wedding in Odessa to remind herself that joy will exist even in bad times. Even in the worst of times, light will not be overcome by darkness. Even if it's a terrible time, you can find a red dress. Men, we're going to go out and get a flashy red dress and prove that joy exists. We're going to go all get red dresses, lots of color, lots of joy, lots of singing. Here's another name you've never heard of. Have any of you ever heard of Kevin Johnson III? I should say this to you. Kevin Johnson III is a 4th grader who was singing, he's known as Knox, in his grade school concert. This is just this week. Let me tell you what happened. He is autistic, totally autistic, and he is just a great singer. So this school is absolutely fascinating in the way they have integrated autistic kids with the regular kids, and they've got it all together. So the regular kids learned how to work with autistic kids. You get what I'm saying? They blend, they do it. He is singing Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. You should see him sing. I should sing this to you. And guess what? Mariah Carey gets hold of the song that little Kevin, age 10, is singing and puts on Twitter. May its soul rest in peace. Your kid is everything. Knox, you made my day. Your joy gives me and everyone watching joy. Thank you for reminding me why I wake up in the morning and do what I do. I love you. Mariah Carey to Knox, 10 years old, an autistic kid who sang his heart out. Joy. I was in BJ's the other day, and there's this aisle, and there's nobody in the aisle except, catch this, a cart. And this 1-year-old, I'm going to guess 14 or 15 months old, because the girl had teeth. And she's sitting there with this big smile, and her mother's going, the kid's going, wee! And the mother's going, the kid's going, yeah! And I'm thinking, can you believe this? Somebody's finally enjoying something. Why do you have to be 1.5 to enjoy things? Why does it take somebody to go, if I went to any of you, you'd say, what is wrong with you? If I came up to Judy Hubbard and I said, Judy, she said, are you not well? Think about this. The little kids get it. They see things, they laugh. At a wedding last night, there is a lady there with a 1.5-year-old, and I came up to her and I said, I love kids. I said, now I want to make this very clear. Sometimes when there's ceremonies and there's a kid there, kids act out. They're kids. And the clergyman gets all upset. I said, let your child be. We love noise. We love it be. And so the kid breaks the glass and smiles and laughs. And it was wonderful. Just joy being a kid and letting go. And then we had last night also a 1.5-year-old named Erin, I think her name is, Erin. And she's there looking at everybody with big eyes and smiling and sticking her hands out. And then she takes a little foot and puts her toes out. Joy. Why do we have to be 1.5 to experience joy? The woman says to us, Ingrid Fertel-Lee, joy is around us everywhere, everywhere. How have we lost it? I'm thinking of Marie and I. We decided to celebrate a Christmas decoration by buying a 14-inch tree. Yes, you heard this. A 14-inch tree. It came with, I think, maybe 8 lights. So I said to Maria, this thing needs lights. It needs lights. I was missing twinkling. I didn't know I was missing twinkling. So we get out and get more twinkle lights. It was not enough. Now we have 100 million twinkling lights on this thing. It brings joy. You see twinkling lights, reds, greens, pinks, purples all over the place. We need some joy. The idea of Christmas is to celebrate a birth, and I would like to put it a different way. Yes, Jesus was born. Nobody knows when Jesus was born, but I would like you to celebrate the fact that Jesus was born, and we celebrate that. I have a different twist on this as a gateway to other people who were born. For those of us who didn't know anything about other religions, bear with me now. Jesus becomes a gateway to other teachers. You learn about Sufi Islam. You learn about great Jewish sages. You learn about Siddhartha. Jesus' birth for many of us became a gateway to other teachers. It also reminds us it's a birth of other guides, not just Jesus' birth, but birth to other guides, other teachers, other rabbis, other imams. And then it reminds us of births in general. How can you not like babies? How can you not like baby fish, baby puppies, baby anything? How can you not like any of this? How cannot this be a reminder that birth brings joy, life brings joy, even when things are the worst? Missiles flying over Odessa, the power grid is out, and she shows up in wild heels in a red dress because the light will not be overcome by darkness. My wish for all of you is to find some joy. And as Van Dyke said, not just now, but every now. Not just this day, but every day. Let's regain some balance. And yes, there's always dark, but there's always light. There's always the red dress, the twinkly lights, the singing of the Grinch, smiles and laughter, and let's embrace that too. Amen. When one reads the texts, it is very, very clear that nobody remembers exactly what went on at the Last Supper. We're not clear whether it was the day before Passover, it was a Passover meal, or the day afterwards. One thing is very clear: there was no list of who can and who cannot be. And so, echoing that, at All Souls, we remind everybody, whenever we break bread and share a cup, everyone is welcome. It makes no difference whether you are an agnostic, an atheist, a Buddhist, a Muslim. It makes no difference whether you are a Christian of any type. It makes no difference who or what you are, what color you are, what color your texture, your hair is. It makes no difference. Bread is broken for all. The cup is offered for all as an act of welcome, an act of friendship, an act of joint blessing for us all. And how we ever came across with these words, it really does sum up what All Souls tries to be and to remind us all. If you would please say these words after me. Promise me you'll remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. God didn't promise days without pain, laughter without sorrows, or sun without rain. But the divine did promise strength for the day, comfort for the tears, and light for the way. My prayer today is actually given in honor of an atheist I visited in the hospital who didn't want a prayer. So I said to her, how about some good words? In my mind, I'm not sure the difference between good words and a prayer. So my good words for all of us are peace, joy, love, patience, gratitude, this day and every day. Amen. And if you will now join with me, those of you wish, in a parting blessing. And now, in this most special of seasons, may that power, stronger than the brightest star, and yet found in the most common and humble of births, nurture, heal, transform, and guide us all our days. Amen. And thank you all today for being with us. Let me say goodbye to everybody. We've got Judy and Rick, Maureen, John and Christine, Dennis Walcott, Chris Diaz, Felix, Rowena. Thank you, Rowena. Daniel Sorkin, Don Schweitzer, Pat, Gail and Tom. Thank you. Angie Hill, Serge Cruz. Thank you. Greg Bowe. Thank you. Pat Kincaid, Cindy and Larry Deach, Cecilia Alessandro. Bless you all. Thank you much. And a hound. And a hound. Bless the hound. And I hope Merry Christmas and Hanukkah to you all as we begin Hanukkah this evening. And I hope I will see some of you on Christmas Eve. Bless you all. Bless you all. A good day. Amen.
Love to all.